Good afternoon. The only thing we haven't gone over yet is your IDNSQ for Chapter 20, Section 4. And I apologize, I forgot I had a department meeting on a Zoom call earlier, or else I would have finished going over this first. All right, so 1 through 14, let's go over this. Let's use it as a review. And then we'll be ready to move on to the second part of this unit starting tomorrow. All right, question 1 says, how is the Neutrality Act of 1939 different from its earlier version? All nations at war can buy weapons and supplies from the United States through our cash and carry policy. So write that down. Nations can buy because of our cash and carry policy. Number 2 says, how did Roosevelt manage to give Churchill the destroyers that he requested as long as he paid cash for all purchases? Number 3, what did Churchill give to Roosevelt for the destroyers instead of cash? So again, they worked out another deal, and he said that he would allow us to have, American bases on British territories. Number 4, how did most Americans feel about Roosevelt's destroyers for bases deal? Most Americans agreed with it. We're just kind of in uncharted territory. We're unsure about what's coming next, and so we accepted it. We believe Roosevelt will do what he thinks is the right thing for us. Number 5, what did the Fight for Freedom Committee promote? They repealed our neutrality acts, and we decided that we were going to start taking action against Germany. Number 6, who were some of the members of the American First Committee? Charles Lindbergh was on this, as well as a Senator, Gerald Nye, NYE, and he was actually part of a question we had earlier in the week about the Nye Committee and doing research. So Charles Lindbergh and Senator Nye, NYE. Number 7 says, what organization pressed for increased American aid to the Allies, but not armed intervention? And that, this is long, Committee to Defend America by Aiding the Allies. That's not a short name, but there it is. Can't read my writing. Committee to Defend America by Aiding the Allies. Number 8 says, what was the unprecedented thing about Roosevelt's decision to run for president in 1940? Well, guess what? It's going to be his 3rd term in office, and that was a big first. We'd never had a president, but I told you, fun fact, he actually runs 4 times and gets elected all 4 times. And an additional fun fact is that we actually come up with the 22nd Amendment because of him. No more than 2 terms. And it wasn't because he wasn't a good president. We just thought that no one person should have that much power for that much time. All right, moving on. Number 9 says, how did Roosevelt get around the cash and carry requirement of the Neutrality Act when Britain ran out of funds? Well, guess what? We created a new law to help them out, and we created what we call the Lend-Lease Act, which means we are lending it to them, and they're going to pay us interest for leasing it out. All right, number 10 says, what was the purpose of the Hemispheric Defense Zone? And that was to keep the U.S. neutral during the war. Number 11 says, what was included in the text of the Atlantic Charter? Free trade, freedom of the seas, democracy, non-aggression, and that we and Great Britain were going to be allies the whole time during the war, back each other up. Number 12 says, what strategic materials did Roosevelt refuse to sell to the Japanese? We would not give them airplane fuel, and we would not give them scrap iron. Again, we're going to completely cut them off after they invade Manchuria, China in 1937. Number 13 says, what was the Japanese response to Roosevelt's actions? They started an alliance with Germany and Italy known as the Axis Powers, and of course the attack on Pearl Harbor. Number 14 says, why did Hitler aid the Japanese after the attack on Pearl Harbor? He hoped that the Japanese would support them and assist them in Europe, which they didn't, but that's what his hope was. All right, that's it. That's the rest of your pages for chapter 20. The rest are up to you. Those are review sheets for you to work on. You've got a political cartoon, one that we've actually looked at before, something similar to it anyway. And then you've got story and a content vocabulary review sheet. So those are for you to work on and study yourself. And I'll see you later, guys. Bye.